G'day, everyone. Two ordinary cops. We're back in the swing of things. We've gone through our little delay period and we're back, mate. How are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm cruising along pretty well. Apart from the heat wave that happened, what was it, last week on Australia Day? I don't know how you were affected down there. Was it pretty bad down in New South Wales?
No, well, where I was, mate, it was a terrifying 27 degrees, so I didn't have much to whinge about. Yeah.
I think
No, we
mum and
don't
dad
do
got
hot,
over
mate.
40 in Toowoomba.
Oh yeah, no, we don't
Yeah.
do hot. It's we watch other people do hot. We don't do it. So no, no, it's been all right. I'm in Bateman's Bay currently down here for some four-wheel drive training. um, which is good. It's a good crew, local area land council down here. So yeah, we're getting them across the line with some four-wheel drive. So tomorrow we're out and about. So yeah, all's well. We're back to normal, kind of. Ema's on the mend.
Yeah.
It's all, 2026, you can only improve. No, it's all good. Yeah,
Yeah, well, no, that's pretty good. And we were actually recording a little bit earlier, so we managed to find a bit of time, which
yeah.
is
No, we did.
unusual.
But yeah, a different. So once again, mate, back to our Q and A's. We've got heaps of messages, which is what we want. Keep them flowing. We read them all. So
Yeah,
get them all through. Hit us with some questions that we'd like to go on with. We picked out a couple of corkers that are really relevant.
yeah,
But
mate.
yeah, we read them all, and we'd like to get back to you guys individually, and then we bring a few on the show as well. So
Yep.
yeah, we really like it. So it's a Q and A once again.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
we do have a couple of really good ones, mate. But to start off, I'll actually we got Tom. He's 16 years old. He lives in Canberra. Wants to join the AFP down there. So he's just wondering if we've got any experience with some AFP police and all that sort of thing. We never really worked that much with them. Not well, we worked well with them, but we never really worked that much with them, apart from the intervention. But they're a different style of AFP, the ones that go on St Condiments and all that sort of stuff.
yeah, they were interstate police mostly attached to the International Deployment Group with the AFP. So they were staties working for the Northern Territory as part of the AFP. That was a very different sort of setup. But yeah, we know quite a few in the AFP. And we can certainly. I know you're gonna send him a message and hook him up for information with quite a few of our people who listen, but also people we know from the NT who are now AFP.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll get him plenty of info there, so that's good and straight from the horse's mouth, serving AFP members. Um, yeah, no, that's great. The only thing I'd say as a 16-year-old is don't be in a mad rush to join the police yet. You get out there and do something else for a little while, and that will make you a better copper when you become one. So
Yeah.
great, fantastic that you know what you want to do. But yeah, it's one of those jobs you really need that little bit of time out in the world. And I know that years seem to take a lot longer when you're only 16, but trust me, you join a little bit later, it'll be good. So I'm thinking 22, 23 would be the
Yeah.
perfect age to sort of join. And if you're into that sort of thing, I mean, the army's there. The army's fantastic for young fellas. You can do a couple of years as a soldier. Um, but anything out of school where you have to sort of make your own money, do your own thing, even uni, something, go out and do something else for a little while, just to get a little bit of life experience. Stay nice and fit. Don't do what I do and bloody get on the grog and eat bloody macca's every meal. It'll make life harder when you join, but yeah, you'll be. Yeah, no, sounds like he's pretty committed. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was 16, so good on him.
No, no, mate, exactly, mate. I went crayfishing, basically straight out of school. So, well, that was my plan and my long life plan. So yeah, and it changed a couple of times, and then of course I'd always wanted to be a police officer, and yeah, so I did it when I gave up crayfishing. So
Mm,
I mean, honestly, it's the best job I've ever had, policing. I loved
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, definitely. No, it's definitely worth doing, but yeah, give it a bit of time. Do something else for a while, and yeah.
yeah,
No, happy
and
days, mate. What else we got?
well, mate, and I'll just say he's also interested in the dog squad, and so we've got a guy that actually want to get on the podcast that was a Queensland dog handler, so that'll be good to get on. And we've actually got quite a couple of people from our squad that were dog handlers, so we'll reach out
Yeah,
to them as well. So
yeah. We've got two of our squaddies ended up dog handlers, but I had heaps to do with the dogs.
yeah,
We almost worked hand in glove with the dog squad in Darwin in Strike Force Trident, basically every day. I think it got to the point where the doggies would ring us and go, "What do you got?" We're like, "Well, we got plenty of jobs. Come over. Like, just turn up at Casuarina Police Station and we'll find something." So
yeah,
yeah, and I know that relationship's got even closer now. I know that basically they're the Strike Force Trident dog team. So obviously they do other jobs as well, but they do so much work with Strike Force Trident. So yeah, dog handling very cool. And the beauty of it is there's a few different streams of it. So obviously you've got your detection dogs, drug detection. Oh, they're so specialised now. There are money dogs, dogs that can smell
Yep.
cash. There are cadaver dogs, can smell human
Yep.
or smell remains. Yeah, oh, they're such a brilliant tool. And then you've got your patrol dogs, which don't just bite people's heads off anymore. They also track and then find missing people and children and stuff like that, and don't attack them. So they're actually very sophisticated asset. It's a brilliant, excellent stream. Really, yeah, it would be very rewarding. It was not my thing. I like to use their capabilities, but yeah, the guys who are in there, they were really passionate. So it's a very competitive stream. It's very tricky to get. It's hard to get into. You've got to really
Yep.
commit yourself to it. You need to be bloody fit, especially as a PD handler, so a patrol dog handler, because yeah, you got to keep up with the bloody mongrel thing, and it's running. There, we didn't call them we call them a fur missile or a land shark. We didn't call them that for nothing. Yeah, they were brilliant. I'll never forget, mate. We were chasing some rat bag through the Todd River in Alice Springs, that sandy river, and the dog handler yelled out "freeze," and we always knew if the dog handler yells that, you bloody well do it. And I'll never forget. It was the middle of the night. It was pretty cold, and I could hear this coming up behind me, and I had to stand still. I remember shutting my eyes, thinking, I'm either about to lose my head or this dog's going to go straight past me. And then I just felt this wind, and this dog just vanished. It was 100 metres in front of me as soon as I realised where it was, and it was flying. But yeah, I didn't move, and it didn't care about me. It was chasing its target. So, oh my God, I shit broken glass. But anyway,
Mate,
yeah.
there's nothing better. I remember I had a standoff over at Millingimby Island, and that's when Timmy Hatton, he had, was it Viper? That
Oh,
bloody,
that wasn't
yeah.
a dog. That was a psychopathic beast. Yeah,
Mate,
yeah.
it's funny, we had to take him across to Millingimby in the bloody dinghy, and so the boat,
Oh,
we're cruising in this small boat, and he just didn't like anyone. And I said to Timmy, I said, "Oh, he seems all right with you," and he goes, "No, he just puts up with me." He said that he
oh
just
yeah.
hates everybody else. He
He's
goes,
a prick of a
he,
dog. He was no good. He was no good. That dog. Oh, I mean, he was extremely. He was a blunt weapon.
yeah,
He was good for certain things, but he was very, yeah, he was too tedious. He was hard to be around. Whereas a lot of the other dogs, they'll sit there. They don't necessarily show affection, like they don't really want you to touch them or pat
yeah.
them. They won't bite you, but um, he would bite your hand
Oh,
off. That bastard, a
mate,
big
I,
Rottweiler. Yeah.
I remember when they had him in the, like, if he was in the back of the car, and I remember like in the, in the car park. There's a couple of times I shit myself because I realised he wasn't. Timmy had just put him in there because they're going to go out somewhere, and I walked past the back of the car, and this, like, there's jaws and this big bloody bark comes out of it, and yeah, you bloody shit yourself.
Oh no, he was a thing. He wasn't a weapon. He was a thing.
But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he was very handy to have there because we were surrounded by about 150 people and nobody wanted to come close to us with him sitting there barking at him.
No,
Um,
no, he was no fun. But yeah, dog handling
so,
awesome, really cool. But yeah, we'll talk about that heaps more when we get some dog handlers on. Actually, that'll be good.
yeah, exactly. Um, Also, mate, we've so Dave got in contact with us, said he loves the podcast, and funnily enough, this is probably well back where you grew up, or out that way anyway. He listened to an audio book, Outback Cop, and I think my dad's actually read it too from Neil McShane. So we're going to see if we can reach out to him and get him on. You probably know a bit more about him than I do, I'd say.
Yeah, I read the book. It would be 10 or 15 years ago that I read the book. So the story is that Neil McShane was a Queensland police officer for quite a while, but he ended up being the officer in charge of the one-man station in Birdsville for a very significant period of time. I can't remember the exact details, but he was definitely on some kind of media show, some kind of investigative media show where they did a story on the one-man cop station, and he wrote a book as well. And I'm pretty sure I read that book about 10 years ago or something. And what I love was I related to it so much. It was just it's a different world there, that Western Queensland, and it's really about being innovative being resourceful, being able to call upon your community to come and help in times of need, which is what we did, what you did a lot of up in the islands.
Yeah.
So I think we would get Neil McShane on here and we would be all besties within 5 seconds. So I'd love to know what Neil's up to. If anybody knows Neil McShane, I'd love, or if, I don't know, he was a relatively, I don't think he's old, like he wasn't an old man or anything. But yeah, we'd love to, if someone wants to reach out, we'd love to have a chat to him because I think we could definitely compare notes on a lot of things. And um, given that area, that Birdsville, that real, you're on the southeastern corner of the Simpson Desert, like it's such a unique place. He'd be really interesting to talk to, and I'm sure, a lot of the same kind of stories would be told. So he would be interesting. So if anyone does know Neil McShane, please let him know that we'd like to talk to him and put us in touch. Or if Neil, if you listen, I don't know, we'd love to have a chat to you. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, no, that'd be great. He'd be good value.
I reckon that'll be a great episode. A cracker, probably a couple of episodes, I reckon, by the time
Yeah, probably.
we finish telling stories.
So I think he retired. He retired from Birdsville.
Yeah, yeah. So no, it's just incredible, and it'd be good. There'd be some great information there, for people that want to go out and work in those remote locations. It's just more on what we've spoken about, but he was out there for a very very long time. So yeah,
Oh, and my advice to any copper is do it. Get out in the bush. Well, I
yeah,
know I've harped on before about remote stuff, but do it. You've got to do it, and do it relatively early in your career. And yeah, it'll be the one thing. It'll be the one thing you think back and you smile to yourself in your retirement that you time out in the bush, because you're not just that street cop. You're not just on deck, radio call after radio call, impersonal. You're just the one wearing the uniform that night, and jobs go job, 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 job. You're out there, and you're Damo, or you're Schultz, or you're Neil.
yeah.
You're not the cops. You're Neil. And that's yeah. My advice for whatever my advice is worth, it would be definitely do that remote policing because you really have to think outside the square to solve problems. It's not like you call on specialised units. It's you're it. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, specialised units will turn up, but they're hours or days away. So
yeah.
yeah, no, I just think it's so good, and even small towns where you're part of a team, yeah, just do it. It's be so rewarding.
Oh, definitely, mate. Yeah, I love my time out bush, and I think it makes you a better police officer when you go back to the city as well because you just learn some just different techniques and all that sort of stuff, and you probably you do a bit more out in the bush of variety.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't get stuck in the the same role every day. So
yeah,
it'd be golden,
yeah,
mate.
definitely.
So yeah, moving on. Mate, Damo Doug's got in contact in relation to the body worn cameras, and said
Hmm.
basically in Victoria, they use them for family violence statements only. So, mate,
Yeah,
you were saying the same in the NT, is it? Or
yeah. Well,
was?
well, it was when I left, but I've been out for a minute now. So when I left, our body worn camera was at that stage being used for DV victims. So we were using body worn statements basically. I would have thought by now they would have evolved a bit and used them as video recorded statements. We've had that legislation for years in the NT, but I don't know. So NT coppers, get in touch and let us know if that's changed because I don't know. I could make a phone call right now and find out, but we're recording, so I won't. but, um, so yeah, that's good to know. So that was in relation to statement taking. I think we asked the question. So
Yeah,
Damo's got in touch from VicPol and just told us. So VicPol use their body worn camera in family and domestic violence incidents where they basically will take a victim statement on their body worn camera.
yeah,
We're interested to know. Let us know from other jurisdictions what you do.
yeah.
So
Well, It's
yeah,
it's pretty funny, and you mentioned off air before we started recording, and that the wheels turn very very slowly. When you consider it was over a decade ago when I started doing all those video statements, and that was for everything.
yeah,
Which I used in court, and they still haven't really started doing it. So, and look, I've actually done some of the mathematics, and I was talking to Damo Duggs about it as well. The amount of money you would save in police hours is phenomenal if you started doing video statements. Um,
oh god, yeah,
Yes, and I'm talking millions of dollars. I think I did
yeah,
rough calculations when I was in the police, and I think the NT police had what about $300 million budget or something back then. It would save over $10 million in police hours in 1 year. Like it was just,
oh,
it was, it's just
it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah,
The fact that the legislation had existed for so long, but nothing had been put in place to actually utilise it, I was surprised by,
yeah,
because when we started using, and what motivated me to do it was the child forensic interviewing thing, and I remember telling you about it, and you grabbed it and
yep.
ran with it properly out in the bush. I had a fair bit of resistance to do with my command and all the rest of it. Anyway, that's not the issue, but yeah, I ended up paying my own transcribers down in Adelaide and getting what are they called, confidentiality agreements coming back, and there was no, it was all legal. Um,
Yep.
yeah, it worked. It
It's
saved so much time. You know, a complex statement could take you 6 minutes,
yeah,
and you know
yeah,
you'd have 30 pages of information there, and you can't dispute that you put words in their mouth, because we'll listen to the recording. Tell me if I have.
yep,
So
yep, exactly, mate. I reckon most of mine were probably 5 to 8 minutes, and that was like
yeah,
the big ones are 8 minutes. Some were under five.
oh yeah,
You know, and look, the longest one I remember taking was 15, but that was in relation to a coronial, where the
mm,
nurse died in the clinic, and the nurse was just so the information she was giving was just exceptional, and that's why it took so long,
yeah,
just to everything she did and all that to try and save this person's life. So, if when you look and if you try and get a statement, imagine getting her up to the station, then you got to get on the computer, you got to then type it out, and I'm a slow typer as well. I talk much faster, and it'd take you well over an hour and a half, 2 hours by the time you actually get them up there, take the statement, get them to read through it, get them to sign it, and then they go
and they're
back.
totally impersonal.
Yeah,
So the other thing is, they're not everything they said. You can't possibly capture every word they say. You basically type out the gist of it. They
yeah,
read it, agree with it, and sign it. When you're interviewing them, you capture everything. You don't just get their words; you get their body language. You get everything. You can
yeah.
look at someone and go, "Wow, that's genuine." Like it's fantastic evidence.
It is.
So it has nothing but positives going for it. I will admit it's hard to refer to them in court, but that's why you get transcription. And now that AI
Yeah.
dictation's so good, word for
Oh,
word dictation, so there's
mate.
no issue whatsoever.
So everything we're saying right now, every time we do an episode, it transcribes us, what we're saying,
Yeah,
you and me. So there's, and it basically gets it. I mean, apart from a couple of words, they're all perfect.
yeah.
So I think I'm shitty or something. It comes up with. I'm not Schultzy. I'm shitty.
Maybe it might be right. You might be in a bad mood, mate. Oh, very good.
But yeah, mate. So mate, and then now we've got a cracker. So this is probably one of the main topics we're gonna discuss today. Got old Mark Harris. Yeah, he's loving the podcast, and he said he's a disability worker, and he's noticed on a full moon their behaviour become erratic. He said, "Have you guys got an opinion on the full moon and the rise in crime?" Mate, I reckon we could talk a while on this one.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. No comment. Yeah. There's a reason there's a term called lunatic. Lunar,
Yeah.
moon, lunatic. Oh my God! It is amazing how that is. I remember when you told me that I just went, oh my God, is it what? And forget policing. Try ambos, hospitals. ER nurses are hilarious. They go, ah, shit, full moon, job's on. Um,
Yep.
Fireys, everyone, like just bloody service station workers go, ah, shit, full moon.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. Um,
Mate,
the worst we ever used to
we
get was
could.
when a full moon fell on a Friday night in Darwin City, and we're city safe. And it's like, ah, well, put your gloves on tonight, boys, it's on. And it
Yep.
was every time, and weird shit would happen. Like, not just violent, like just weird shit. It was, if you looked at I reckon you could put a direct correlation between the phases of the moon and the yeah, the jobs that CitySafe attended, and just all the GD's coppers. I know that all the old experienced people around the place would be nodding their heads, just going, "Oh yeah, God, it's a thing. It's 100% a thing."
Yep.
So yeah. So what's your experience with the moon, mate? Anything there
Oh,
with the
mate.
full moon?
So when I was actually doing the rosters out bush, I used to roster around the full moon because you could. If you were doing an evening shift or something, you'd do it. It'd be on a full moon,
Yeah,
because you know you're going to get called out anyway. And I remember like how many times you walk out of you go into the work and you look up and you go, ah, fuck, we've got a
Yeah.
full moon tomorrow. You know it's going to be on. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, the stories are just phenomenal. Very rarely, I remember one time in Borroloola, yeah, it was in Borroloola, and I walked out and I saw a full moon. I thought, oh fuck, it's going to be really bad, but there was nothing on that night. Probably because I think I'd reminded about 13 of the blokes out of Borroloola the week before, so everybody
Yeah.
was on a bit
All the
down
bad
low.
boys are in jail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I think one of the female cops coming in and go, "Where are all the men in the community?" I said, I've sent them all up to Darwin. They're all under
Yeah.
remand."
Yeah. Look, they've been naughty boys. But yeah, I remember Catherine. I think it was around the show time, around Catherine's show, happened to coincide. I think it was 2009. The first ever tasering in Catherine was around the Catherine show, and I've told that story before where we were already at stabbings. So both units, there were two units on duty plus a shift sergeant, and we ended up breaking the teams apart because we're babysitting crime scenes where people have been stabbed, not fatally but badly. And yeah, we've put three vehicles together with a person in them, with a copper in them each, and gone into the middle of town to deal with what was lots of triple O calls for a massive fight. And we get into the main street of town. It looked like a 15th century bloody war zone. It was just bodies flailing everywhere. And yeah, sure enough, full moon. And don't get me wrong, a dangerous cocktail of ringers from out in the bush. You know, you got your Aboriginal fellas in town. You got everyone on the piss. Bundaberg rum made a fortune that night, and yeah, we're dealing with all that. So it was a hell of a show.
No, we used to have some. I remember some. Catherine. If it coincided, like you said, on a Friday night, I remember some nights there. You come out and the bloody nightclub, opens its doors to let everybody out about 2 a.m. And I remember time like the whole street. You've got hundreds of people just fighting down the street. And I remember we used to park across from it, and we'd have a party pack in each hand, and you'd be hosing hundreds of people with party packs because they're all fighting.
Oh
It
yeah,
just used to go absolute nuts.
yeah. No, it
So
was a thing. It's definitely a thing. That there's yeah. On this one, we'd love to hear from some medical folk because I guarantee that yeah, it's a thing within the hospitals. I know that talking to my cousin Kate, she's an ED consultant, an ER consultant, so emergency consultant, and she has worked in Darwin, she's worked in Canberra, now she's in Toowoomba, and she has seen it all. And yeah, she definitely would talk about the moon, I reckon.
oh, definitely, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, mate, in reply, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah,
So, and,
yeah.
like
It's
you just,
yeah,
and I imagine like there'd be cops that of thousands upon thousands of stories where they've gone out in a full moon. It's just, and like you said, it's not always violent. It can just be weird.
just weird
Um,
shit. Yeah,
yeah.
humans are fascinating. They really are. Human beings are just fascinating.
Yep, they sure are, mate. They are just fascinating.
Oh, mate, my
Um,
favourite subject.
um,
Yeah,
yeah, so I actually just thinking about it. I mean, one of my best studies is human nature, isn't it? Really, I mean, you do it all the time in the police. But mate, I was also going to mention the weather. The weather can really play a big part. Like the build up in Catherine, you remember what that was like?
yeah, yeah. It's proper silly season. So I think what happens is a lot of the people we deal with don't live. They live pretty rough. So as a result, they don't escape that heat. And during the build up in the top end of the Northern Territory, that the heat's relentless. You don't get that wet season coastal storm that comes across. You don't, the big thunderstorms that really kick off in the wet season. Well, they haven't kicked off yet, and people just sweat all day and all night. There's no reprieve from that heat, and it sends people mad. They call it mango madness for a reason. Um, so yeah, the combination up there. If you get a full moon in the middle of November, holy Jesus, job's on. And
It's
not
on.
just wet, not just that. The people you're dealing with would have been sweating for days. So they're like,
Oh
the
yeah,
old saying is, wrestling wet spaghetti. It's just wild.
yeah.
Yeah, people just go nuts. But it's weird how people react very irrationally. You'll turn up, but admittedly you're still sweating, but you get out of your air conditioned car and then start sweating again
Yep.
and walk over to them, and people are quite irrational. And especially on nights where the old full moon's out, the lunatics are out, and job's on. So yeah, mate, no, definitely weather. So yes, the full moon. To short answer, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and like then you used to get the first rain and you get a bit of a reprieve for a little bit, and then
yeah.
but the problem is if the rain kept going too long, people spent too long indoors together, and it used to start off again.
The domestics would kick off. Oh yeah, no, just cycles. The circle of life. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but mate, I reckon we'll move on
Mm.
from that because we've got another probably good topic to talk about, and I think both of you can, oh well, you both of us can actually add a little bit, especially into this one. So Mark got in contact with us. He's a copper up in the Northern Territory, and he said he just like coppers that dealt with crocodile attacks.
Mm.
Like any good stories and all that sort of thing. Now, I don't think I had to when I was out at Croker Island. We had a croc attack out at Black Point. I think we had to go over in the boat, and luckily, I think at the time. The commander, Jeanette Kerr, was there, and but Tony Henrys was also out there because he was going to do the swap over. And so we actually, jumped in a boat and actually went out. This guy got bitten on the head. He was still alright. We had to fly people in, to get him medevaced out and all that sort of thing. So he survived. So it wasn't a overly big croc, but yeah, that's one we had Black Point. So that's right up on the tip, or just round probably to the east, from the tip of Northern Territory.
Yeah.
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 And I mean, we didn't have a real lot to do with that. We just, just a standard investigation, but it was all pretty straightforward. He
Pretty
just
well
got,
medical. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So, how about you, mate?
Nothing. No, never. I've seen plenty of crocs.
Yeah,
That's about it. No, I never had anything to do with a croc attack, but I know plenty of blokes who have.
yep,
Um, and I can't. This is not my experience. I have not been ever involved in a croc attack. However, I had it very well explained to me over beers at the Jabiru um, police station, and I saw something. I don't have it in front of me. There was some kind of podcast that got launched a little bit on Facebook where a fella who was working out of Owen Pelly police station responded to a croc attack where a fella was taken walking over Cahill's crossing, which is the highest concentration of crocodiles in the southern hemisphere.
it
There's
is.
be there. Um, anyway, they're walking through waist deep water, and the person at the end got taken, and there were two women at the front and a man at the back, and the man got taken by a crocodile. But the women didn't even hear it happen. Um, but what Shorty also came up to me. He's the bloke who mentioned it. I'll just say his nickname. He's still in the job. Um, he told me that they went down with the rangers down the East Alligator River, and what they found was a huge, what looked like an oil slick on top of the water. So it's that rainbow colour, like oil in water. Put petrol in water, you'll see what I mean. Or diesel's probably better. Going down the river, they see that and they go, right, we're in the right place. So basically, you find the crocodile that's territory is where that slick, that oil slick is, and you'll find your croc that's actually attacked the person. So the standard procedure was basically they'd shoot the croc and then take the croc and cut it open and recover the human remains. Now, I've had it told to me by the Jabiru guys not long after something like this had happened at the Jabiru police station having beers out the back while we were out on one of our runs, and all of them were they were affected by it. They said there is nothing quite like that. It's this is a bit rough, but it's a half digested human body that they're
Yeah,
pulling out of a crocodile, and it's also not in one piece. So I know that a lot of people involved with croc attacks really struggled a bit with them because they're terrible. They're not good. And the trouble with the crocodile, they're a perfect bloody ambush predator. So you won't even know they're there, and next minute you're gone, and you're never going to overpower a crocodile.
yeah,
They are just extreme predators. So yeah, no, I've never had anything to do with a croc attack. Not even on the back end of a job or anything. All my my really heavy coronial stuff was down in Alice Springs. I did coronial stuff up north, but never to do with a croc attack, which is
yeah,
kind of It's kind of weird. It would have sort of completed the circle of the territory experience because, I mean, that's a very Northern Territory, very North Queensland or Northern Western Australian experience. No one else would deal with that. So,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of shark attacks down south, but the crocs, yeah, they're very sneaky.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean they're perfect predators, aren't they? Really. And look, you're talking about Cahill's Crossing. I mean, anybody just research Cahill's Crossing. Cahill's Crossing. It's actually on the back of our image. That is
Well,
that is.
that's our picture. That's
It
our
is.
little cartoon. That's us going over Cahills.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's
you'll
right.
notice there's no water over the road at the time.
No.
And I know you don't get a sense of speed, but me and Schultz are doing 200 kilometres an hour over that bridge because we're terrified of crocs.
And look, any given day, you can see probably, what, 30, 40 crocs just around there.
Oh yeah, if you pull up on,
There's some.
on that crossing, because quite often the water can be a metre below the approaches there, where you're at a low tide and there's no change, or in the dry season when it's low. Yeah, there's crocs bloody everywhere.
Yeah.
Even standing in the middle of that road when it's dry and there's no water anywhere near it, you still go, I don't like being here. I'm out.
That's right.
Uh, but yeah, when the water's up and over, which it does in the wet season, well, in the wet season it cuts,
Yeah,
but either side of the wet season, that water comes up and it's tidal. You can cross it in
yeah.
between the tide changes, and at low tide you can cross it, but at high tide you can't.
No, no, that's
And
right.
the trouble is, it pumps one way, then it pumps the other, so it flows both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And like basically a couple of times I've got to it, and if you get it to at the wrong time, you got to wait basically 6 hours before you get a chance to cross it again.
yeah.
You got to wait for the tidal to fish. And one I did actually. Oh yeah, there was a whole lot of people not going over, and I did it in the police Land Cruiser once, and probably look, well, the bosses, they can do whatever they want now. But it was definitely above the headlights of the Land Cruiser, and it was
Oh,
and
no,
it was
bugger that,
phenomenal.
mate. You can keep that rubbish. That's no.
But I mean, and look, this is for people. It's flooded. Forget it. I've been doing this a very very long time, and I've driven that probably hundreds of times. I've gone across it. So
Yeah,
I'll
and
make
it's not flooded. That's normal.
no,
It's a
that's
water
right.
crossing.
Yeah,
It's not a flooded causeway. It's a water crossing. That's just
yeah,
how it is.
and
There are lots of water crossings on those roads. There are permanently water over the road. That's just how they are.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Mm.
and look, and it's more about the flow,
Mm.
and all that sort of stuff you got to watch out for. So I mean, I mean, people with our sort of experience, and there's people a lot more experienced than us. But yeah, don't try it if you've got no experience in it. It's
Well, I've got a bit of experience and I don't like it anymore. I wouldn't do it. I'm just not into it. I'm not into drowning. Just not
we,
into it.
there was one way where we used to actually get in the Blythe, and we'd drive 30 meters upstream, and actually
Yeah.
drive and actually go down the river with it over the bonnet. And slowly work your way across to the bloody to
Yeah,
the
but that was the standard crossing. That's what
yeah.
everybody did. It was just the standard way you crossed the river.
That's
It was
right.
like,
Yeah.
normal people drive over a bridge. Well, not in Arnhem Land, mate. Yeah. Yeah. You,
Yeah.
you,
So,
you wade through the water.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like I had quite a few dealings with up at Croc Roll, and I had quite a few dealings with crocodiles. Not only that one where the croc attacked, but I had permission to shoot a crocodile. That was basically hassling people and all that sort of thing. And at one stage, they called me down because it was coming into the beach. They'd just killed a turtle, I think. And anyway, I sat down and watched. Mate, you watch it. It like comes up and you see it just above the water, and it's basically gauging. And there was a dog feeding on the carcass down there, and then it disappeared about 30 metres out from the shore. And I'm sitting there, I've lined up. I had the 308 at that stage, and I had it lined up. And you're probably waiting 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute, and then suddenly it just flies out of the water at this dog. And
Mm.
I basically had it trained pretty well, so I fired a shot, and as soon as I don't know if it hit it or it might have, but it might have deflected as well, but it stopped. The croc
Yeah.
just stopped dead still.
Yeah.
And the dog, it was probably about a foot away from the dog at this stage, and the dog obviously quickly bloody took off because
Yeah.
otherwise it would have been another dead dog. And then it did just about a backflip and jumped straight back in the water.
Yeah.
Um, but we trapped
Geez,
that.
those bloody bees are angry up here. Yeah.
And then later on, they actually trapped it and came down, and I shot it actually with your 45-70.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. The rifle I owned had shot a crocodile, but it certainly wasn't me.
No.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I mean, that's just one of them. And then I was with the Rangers down in Borroloola when we shot another one, um, because yeah, it was obviously just causing too much dramas, too
yeah.
much danger. So, and I think if they get to a certain size, they don't relocate them, do they?
I'm not sure, mate. I don't know much about them. I just know what they look like, and I know to stay away. Snapping handbags are not my friend. Yeah, no. I like to say I like to talk about things I know about. When I know nothing, I say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think there was something about. And look, for Parks and Wildlife, get in contact with us.
yeah,
Fill us in because we went under your direction,
mm,
so we don't know the ins and outs. If you gave the order and it was all cleared, then we could take action.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's illegal to shoot crocodiles and all that, so on and so
mm,
forth. So
yeah,
yeah, get in contact with us and let us know some of the ins and outs and all that
yeah,
sort of thing, like some of the hoops you have to jump through, because I think that people are generally interested in that.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's a
so
very, very territory thing, crocodiles. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
exactly. And well, mate, before we go on though, however,
mm,
I do believe I think the Owen Pelly Celsius had a crocodile in it before.
yeah, I think it has. I've seen that picture.
Yep,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
got locked up.
yeah. Locked up a croc. That's great. Love it. Very, very good. You'd put that picture up in your police club, wouldn't you? That's bloody excellent.
Yeah,
One in custody. Just watch him.
yeah.
He's cranky. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't know what you'd feed it, but
Yeah. Well, it'd be a bloody good deterrent. So, righto, listen, you fellas, if you want to play up in the cells, you're going with the croc. Oh, shit, will be good.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
dear. So, yeah, mate. I'd say you've had nothing, no other involvements with Crocs.
no, nothing. Nothing official. No. I've no, just seen him.
Yeah,
Just seen him in the water. That's all. When you're in the territory, you see him, and that's it. No, I've had absolutely no official dealings with crocodiles whatsoever. So yeah, and I mean, I've worked in plenty of areas
but
where
what
you've
we'll
got
we'll try and
potential.
do. Yeah, yeah. But we'll try and see if we can get a couple of the coppers. Because I think actually there's a couple of them probably listen to this. Get in contact with us
Mm,
yeah, tell your story because we'd
yeah.
happily share it.
Oh yeah, no, we'd love to interview
So,
someone about a croc. Yeah, that'll be the go. Yeah.
oh, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah. So, mate, have you got anything else going on?
No, not really, mate. Training, and that's about it. So we might call it. We'll yeah, a couple of stories, just a bit of a Q and A. We've got interviews lined up coming up in the next few weeks.
Yep.
And yeah, we've got a few in the pipeline, so that's what we want. People have been asking about Kath and Susie, and they're just getting a little bit of advice at the moment. But we intend to do a wrap up with those guys because we've left it a little bit unfinished, and that's just the way it is.
Yep.
That's the nature of police work. So we hope that they'll be back at some stage, not in the not too distant future. But yeah, we've got plenty of other interviews lined up, and keep those questions coming because we love it. You know, if you want to hear about something, we might have good stories about it. Unfortunately, I've got nothing to say about crooks. Crocs. I don't like them. I need to say about crooks. I don't have much to say about crocs. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, well,
yeah,
it probably would have finished up nicely for you. Well, not so nicely for the person taken, but if you have to do a coronial in relation to a crocodile.
yeah.
But
No,
there was definitely a few in our time while we are up there. I
oh yeah.
remember them, but yeah, we just never had any dealings with it. So
No, I just
uh,
said I was never part of the crew. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So oh well, mate, I reckon that'll finish us up for the for this week's episode.
that'll wrap us up, mate. Yeah, but no, stay in tune, get in touch, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, that's right. And also, just one thing I noticed: cartonable offences, they haven't gone away;
Oh,
they're still
no.
going on. So, yep. And mate, I believe I've been told by Big Camo source I owe one because I did fuck up that he was. Said he's corrections. He's not corrections. So yeah, that was my mistake, and I will pay a carton for that. That is duly noted. And also, mate, I believe you owe a carton as well. There's a couple of people that said that because you missed an episode.
I missed an episode. I had pretty good reason to miss it, but you don't whinge. You just pay the carton. So I'll pay that. We'll get some good funny stories about cartons in the future. And keep them coming in. If you've got a good story about a carton of the week, let us know. And none of this bloody cake, none of this cake crap. We're talking carton of beer. Eat
Yeah.
cake and you'll get fat. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, we
Bloody
only deal
cake.
with cartons. That's it. So,
Righto, so we'll call it all the best.
yep, we'll see you next week.